Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Zane. Welcome to the presidential debate 2012 between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. Now, the main reason I'm making this video, and normally I do wrestling videos, but once in a while I'll do something entirely different. Ergo, the Star Wars, what should have been done with episode 1, 2, and 3 and beyond, YouTube, the three major religions. I try to do things that are interesting and sometimes different. Now, I wish to say that I'm not knocking people on YouTube, but I've noticed that there's a very large progressive community. Not all the time do they like to hear anything about conservatism, Republicans, or anything else. Usually it's just about that. So I'm not knocking it. That's just the way it is. And I thought, since I'm not conservative, I'm not Republican or Democrat, I'm an independent, I thought I would do a video on, at least as clear as possible, a understanding what really happened during this debate on October 3rd. What went on? Who was the one that looked like a clear one that's ahead into the first debate when they have two more debates and one vice president debate? Now, I will make this I'll try not to make it too complicated, because it is kind of complicated, because the spectrum of what they talk about with the economy, jobs, healthcare, education, talking basic about how the system works. It was very detailed by the moderator. I forgot his name, Jim Law, if I'm pronouncing his name right. The moderator, I can say, got talked over a lot by either Barack Obama or Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney did talk a lot more over than Barack Obama did. Now, I'm sure that there are some people who are going to say, and I'm sure this is going to happen, Barack Obama got the short end of the stick, he got treated bad, and if some of these people are like I believe they are, they're going to basically say because he's a black man, he got the shaft. You know what? I'm going to say it like this. If you look at me, you may see someone who's Spanish, but guess what? I'm not pure Spanish. I'm mixed, just like the president is. The president is biracial. Not many people talk about that. He's biracial. He mainly talks to himself as a black man. No problem with it. But I was taught, see the person who they are. Not this, and not this. See how he acts. See how she acts. What she or he believes in. What he and she is their passion. It's their pride. Seeing them for just your skin takes a perspective away from you completely. Because when you only see the skin, you do not see if that person's good or bad. Now, my mother basically explained most of that to me. But take a guess who's the one who started that. Martin Luther King. He made it clearly. You do not see someone for the skin color, you see them by their character. And I myself personally, dealing with people who are Democratic, who are progressive, when Barack Obama got into office, screamed their head off saying, we are so happy that he is our president, our first black president. An accomplishment, that is nice. Yes, I would say he was the first biracial president. But the point is that he's still just a president. Seeing him for the color that he is not going to make him a better president. Look in the 1960s. Before 1960, before John F. Kennedy went into power, becoming president, because he was running against, I believe, Richard Nixon at the time. The thing about this is, he was a Catholic. There have never been a Catholic president. There have always been Protestants in this country. If you never knew that, take a little look at our history. Check up on John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was a Catholic, and there had never been one in history of this country. It's always been Protestant, Christian Protestant only, not Catholic Christian. The people were shocked about him becoming president, but they looked at him for who he was. He was a damn good president that did some good things before he was assassinated. For this case with Barack Obama, it's important to see beyond his skin color. See what he has done, not for what he looks like. And here is what the debate went down to. With Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, the points that Barack Obama gave were not as good as Mitt Romney's. This is basically the truth, for the simple fact that most of what Barack Obama said, particularly about education, and some of what happened with his health care plan. The education, when he was talking about at one point saying, when we took over for the banks, taking the middleman out between us and basically universities and colleges, we lowered, and this is what he basically said, we lowered the premiums for our student loans, for grants. Tap and Pell went down, but honestly hasn't. If you do some research, if you look at the Washington Post, if you look at the New York Times, the Daily News, and look many months back, you can find it in the internet or the basically the I can't believe I'm blanking out on the library. I'm sorry. If you look back on that, you'll see maybe in the last year, it'll show that there was a rise in premiums for Tap and Pell and a reduction in grants. Grants went down, didn't go up. Grants did not increase. Tap and Pell payments did not decrease. They were the reverse. So Barack Obama was not being totally honest about that. During some of the debate with Mitt Romney saying that about $760 billion, sorry, not million, $760 billion, which comes out to maybe about almost $800 billion. It varies from what economists say and what's being said on most of the websites for the government. I'd say about $800 billion roughly. It could be a little more, a little less, but essentially about $800 billion, which was originally slated for Medicare, went to the new health care plan, which is being called Obamacare, into that. Now, how does that impact someone like myself? I used to work, I've been badly injured. Unfortunately, I'm not working right now. I got injured on my job, but I used to work in a nursing home. Now, the thing that not many people understand in a nursing home is this. The nursing home gets money from roughly 3 different sources. 1, they get it from the government, Medicare. 2, they get it from nonprofit organizations that donate to them. 3, they get it from people who are living there who actually pay. That's roughly 3 different ways they get their money. The people who pay, which will be in and out or do some type of service. You've got the federal government who gives basically Medicare, and from different nonprofits who donate to them. When they cut $700 billion across the board, across every state in the United States, many people, and I worked in a nursing home, there were many people who had to be sent away because they could not afford it. Medicaid, which not many people talk about, it has its own separate budget, but get this, some of the money in Medicaid that would normally be slated for it has also been transferred to the healthcare system. So essentially, much of what people have been screaming and begging for has been lost due to the fact that the new healthcare system, where a lot of people have been saying, hey, we have to take care of these people, but get this, you got to take it from somewhere. A lot of the elderly just lost their homes that are in nursing homes. I worked at one, so I know. So essentially what he said before wasn't accurate, and what basically Romney said is accurate, that many people basically couldn't get the same care. They had to be sent away, which is the truth. I used to work, 1, in a laundry, and then 2, in a kitchen for a hospital, not hospital, a nursing home in Manhattan. In a lucrative area too. And they didn't have the money to maintain it. A lot of people had to be shifted to other nursing homes that had a better budget. So, does that sound like Barack Obama did better than Romney? No. Romney didn't win the point. And I wish to say Romney said something clearly that made the most sense out of the entire debate. Placing as much as possible, within reason, as much control and resources to the states. Do not allow the government to have so much control. Now, if no one understands how the government of a state compared to the government of this country functions, let me put it to you like this. We have 50 states in this country. Every state is, in a sense, a micronized or a miniature version of the United States entirely. Take New York, for instance, where I'm living right now. You have counties in New York. You have cities in New York. New York State, I'm talking about, just not New York City. Basically, the way a state functions is exactly how the United States functions. You have judicial, you have executive, and you have basically legislative. Just like the United States government, the entire House of Representatives. Everything functions exactly the same. But the thing that non-people understand is that each state works differently. Now everyone says, yeah, of course they do. They always have different rules and laws. Yes, that's mainly because of when they were established. The first 13 colonies of the United States, or the 13 colonies from England, New York being one of them, they had their rules and laws established well before any of the other states in this union. So every state after that wrote different rules and laws, somewhat basing it on the original 13 colonies. Every state is totally different. So saying what Barack Obama was saying, basically spreading as much as possible and evening out of resources and regulation across all 50 states, basically did not work. Many people say it did, actually hasn't. Look what happened to Louisiana. Look what happened to Arizona, where there's been a huge controversy counting immigration. Look what's happening in California. They have it so badly right there. And a lot of the new regulation has been trying to correct those states, and it made them worse. What Romney said was clear. Give the resources and as much control that is within reason to each individual state, like with their healthcare system. Let each individual state deal with their healthcare system directly, not a regulation that's given to the states by the government that is a uniform, basically a uniform rule and law. The same rule and law that would be set for New York would be the same for California. But get this, let's say California is 5 times the size of New York, and they have a huge problem with healthcare that New York doesn't have. The same rules will not apply. It just won't work. They may need more insurance control than New York, but forcing New York to have more insurance control may not be the key for it. It may make it worse. This is what he was saying. And one thing that Barack Obama also said, which made no sense, he said within this debate, and I'm sure it's in there, anyone with a pre-existing condition, if they can get an insurance from another state, probably wouldn't work. That makes no sense. See it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Each state, and this is the law, federal law, each state has its own amount of insurance companies, other than the United States government having health care. One of the problems many people have said is this. Each state has a certain amount of insurance providers, and those insurance providers are not always allowed to cross state lines. So anything in Florida, let's say there's 100 providers in Florida with the best coverage and service for medical, they can't go to New York, like where I'm living right now, for the simple fact that federal law states they can't do it. Mitt Romney wants to lower the borders and allow anyone to get insurance from any state. You can have insurance from Maryland if you live in California, if they're allowed to provide it. What the President said was, if you have a pre-existing condition and you're sick, that insurance from another state probably won't work. Probably he's right in that respect. But there are another 49 states you can go to if the borders are completely dropped that you can get insurance. That will probably cover you. There are thousands of different insurance companies across this country, and unfortunately, most people cannot access them because of the government. So what Barack Obama said in that respect also was wrong. Now this sounds like I'm being very biased to Barack Obama. I'm not. But I am being honest of what was said during the debate. And Barack Obama was not very focused in this debate. He didn't act focused very well at all. And in most cases, in one point during the debate, he asked the moderator, can we move on? As far as I can tell, I've now seen on CNN, and now I've seen on MSNBC and on Fox News. No one has ever heard of anyone saying, can we move on to another topic? No candidate in history has ever done that. Now, it sounds like people will say, so what? He's the president. He has the right. Anybody has the right to say that. But no candidate or no incumbent president has never done it. It makes him look bad. Now, it's said that the next debate is going to be in basically an open forum for people to come in and basically, like a town meeting, basically a town meeting format where both people would have basically free range to get any type of information. Well, not information. Basically, you got people from the audience talking. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm kind of tired. And it's said that Barack Obama is much better than that, and he is. Probably he didn't feel very comfortable in this debate, so probably he didn't do that well. A lot of people are saying that. I myself am not going to give an opinion if it's right or not. This is not about how I feel about it, if I'm partial to Romney or if I'm partial to Barack Obama. Only thing I'm saying is what that was really spoken about that makes the most sense. Who won the debate? Basically, this debate, Romney edges out very considerably. It's as simple as that. And as much as some people, I don't know who would say it, I'm not saying anyone on YouTube is going to be biased about this. I know there's a lot of progressives on this show, these channels that would say, if they saw this video, that you're a complete moron. You don't know anything. No one knows it all. And I'm only giving a fair assessment of what's going on. I have no idea how the next debate's going to be, but if you're going to be honest about how the debate went, it's obvious you have to see that Romney was more aggressive and was a lot more clear on his message. Barack Obama, if he wasn't comfortable in this type of setting, if he'll be more comfortable in the next two settings where he could be over on Romney, then that's going to be about it. But if you're going to be honest and not just say that you hate Romney because he's a devil, because you heard just that he's evil and he's rich, if you really want to know the truth, it's not the point if both of these guys are rich, and they are. Remember, Barack Hussein Obama, once originally known as Barry Obama, he's basically a former lawyer, and lawyers made at least $200,000 to $300,000 a year, counting on where they were doing their practice, what firm they were in. Romney was a CEO, so you can't say that the poor black man was getting screwed. This poor black man was making more than most people could see in their entire lifetime, and he did it for many years, working as a lawyer. His wife was a lawyer. Next to Barack Obama being an organizer, a community organizer, he was a lawyer. So you can't say the man wasn't having some money. When he went into the Senate and then became president, he had money. So you can't say the poor black man is getting screwed. He's not. He isn't. So I just wish to say that this is the Zane's view for the presidential election 2012 between Romney and Barack Obama. If you like this, subscribe and comment. I have no idea if I'm going to do another video on this. If anyone who sees this video, which I don't know if anyone will, most people who see my videos are wrestlers, wrestling fans, sorry, not wrestlers, wrestling fans. They usually look at this. I doubt anyone's going to see this, but if you do, give me a comment on what you believe. Like I said, I'm an independent. I'm not in either party. I was just seeing a fair assessment of what went on. Give me a comment on what was going on, what you saw. Tell me how you feel. And if you do like what I said, please subscribe. I would really like subscribers, so I at least know I'm doing decently well. So have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.